Hello, everyone. Hi, Songbirds. It is Kerri Ho from the songbird.tree.com, where we get grounded, take flight, and sing. And I want to welcome you to episode 35 of the live stream, Master Your Mix. Welcome if you're here live, and welcome if you're watching later. Really excited that you're here. This is a subject that many of you have really expressed that you really want to learn more about. So I'm very excited to dive into today's content. Now, because it's such a big topic, like it's seriously a huge topic, it would be impossible for me to cover everything to do with mastering your mix in the short time that we have together today. Although we're going to get into some really great juicy content. So, because of that, and because of all of the requests of so many of you songbirds out there, I am actually having a Master Your Mix 90-minute webinar, right? That is coming up on the 4th of March, EST, which is in Australia, is on the 5th of March. This is going to be like today's live stream, but on steroids, okay? Here is where I will really share every single secret that I have when it comes to mastering your mix. So if you've ever wanted to sing with a voice that doesn't feel like two distinct voices that you just can't control, and you really want to have that smooth, beautiful mixed voice where you feel so confident and so proud of, this is the webinar for you. So make sure that you do click on the link that is in the description box below. And the link's coming up down the bottom of the page as well. Go and check out all the details, find out more about it. And if that interests you, make sure you save your seat ASAP because there are limited seats and I don't want you to miss out. Okay. So that is that. Now, today we are all about mastering your mix. So today I'm going to give you 5 incredible exercises that you can actually start practicing today and every day to start to master your mix. But before we get into the 5 exercises, let me even talk about what on earth am I talking about when I say mastering your mix. For a lot of us, there is, for basically all singers, especially when we haven't done any training before, there comes a point in our voice where we kind of feel like we have to make a decision. Do we continue up in that chesty voice? But then it starts to feel strained and painful. Or do we flip into a more heady, lighter voice, which sometimes can feel really weak? So, mastering your mix means that you don't necessarily choose to do either of those, but that you learn exactly how to balance your voice in such a way that you use both on the same note. So, you're actually using both a mixture, that's why it's called a mixture of chest voice and head voice on the same note. And mastering your mix is the process of learning how much mix do you need where in your range and actually learning how to sing in such a way that you are almost always, singing in a way that's balancing both registers and in a way that is exactly the right amount of chest voice and exactly the right amount of head voice, depending where you are in your range, because it will vary depending on where you are in your range. So that's what that is. And the result of learning how to master your mixed voice is that you end up with a voice that feels and sounds like one seamless voice that just goes from your low to your high, from your high to your low, like it's all one voice. And that you feel so much more in control of your vocal instruments and you have more strength and more power, your pitch improves. Like at the end of the day, mastering your mix is an incredibly important part of contemporary singing and something that all singers, would benefit so much from learning. But it is a very confusing topic, and there is so much knowledge out there. So I'm here to unpack it for you and to make it simple and to get you started. Okay, so that's what mastering your mix is all about. So why don't we get into the juicy details of today's content and get into the 5 amazing exercises that I'm going to share with you today. All right, so to start mastering your mix, the first thing we need to do is we actually need to get our vocal folds closing together a bit more. Okay, so if our vocal folds are not completely closed together, so it's only the edges vibrating, then we're always going to sound very thin. Right now, if we get them closing together properly, then we are going to get a much more balanced tone that has both chest and head voice, but is solid. Now, but the thing is, the way we want to do that is in a way that does not hurt our throat, that we're not pulling up more chest voice than we need to. Okay, and one of the best exercises to do this is with the the staccato okay? So first of all, I want you to say along with me, songbirds. I want you to go So somewhere low in your range where you feel your chest vibrating, just want you to go and really feel that beautiful buzz, right? And when you go that particular sound, that's bringing your vocal folds together, just so you know, okay? Like that, yeah? So we're not going but we're going okay, super important. That's why I call it staccato. It's not quite staccato, but it's really just a little bit more emphasis on the And what we don't want is a H. So we don't want As soon as you do that, you're making your vocal folds flip out a little bit, and there's a lot of air rushing through, and that's not what we want. We want a solid Okay, everybody with me. A bit higher. And a little higher. So see, even when I go quite high, I'm not going right? That's the temptation, and that's what most people will sort of naturally go towards. But I don't want you to think about that. I want you to go okay. All right. So here's the scale. It goes like this. Okay. And now I want you to really make sure every single note is a with no H. Yeah. And I also want you to chew on it, and I want you to also have a little bit of a smile in your on your face. That's going to help to lift the soft palate to make sure there's no tension. All right, here we go. Smile on your face. Now, at this point, many people will start to go, no. So it's, it might be helpful to think about it as a little bit of a slide into the note. Well done. Now, as we get higher to this point here, it starts to feel a little bit high and like, oh my gosh, can I really go there? Right? I want to encourage you. Yes, you can. One of the best ways to think about it now as we go higher is to think of a whimpering dog. Okay? So let's try it with that feeling in toe. Well done. Well done. Amazing work, Songbird. So, if you had kept that going, you would have found that you just went all the way from your low to your high back down to low, and it was very seamless. There was no sense of cracking or flipping. Now, it can take a little bit of time to practice. So, if you didn't get it perfectly today, it is so fine. Just keep practicing. Keep coming back to this video. Okay. All right. Now that we've gotten our vocal folds a little bit more close together in a very gentle manner, built some resonance and all that, it's time to take that same exercise into a mum mum. So now we want to just add a little bit more to that feeling. So now we're going to mum 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 mum, and we're going to sing it very conversationally, as if we're literally just talking to our mum. Okay, ready? And mum 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 mum. 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 And I encourage you to still keep that sort of sense of smile. Okay? Mum 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 mum. 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 Fantastic. So the important one for that one is that you're bringing the same feeling into the mum, right? And just keeping it really spoken and conversational. All right. Hey, Angelique, good to see you. Hey, Debbie, good to see you as well. Good morning, Susan. So good to see you all. All right. Now, as we get into that conversational sort of feeling of singing in the mix, right? It's time to, add a little bit more chest voice in the mix. Most people who come singing lessons with me, that's what they want. They want to be able to sing with more power, and sometimes that's expressed with how can I sing higher in my chest voice? Well, the thing is, we still want to mix our voice. Okay, we don't want to just keep trying to go higher and higher and higher in chest voice. That's actually going to cause pain and strain. But what we want to do is try and put a little bit more chest voice in your mix. Okay. So that's going to give you that chesty feeling that you've always loved. And it's going to give you the volume and the power that you always wanted as well. So from the conversational mums, we then move into a Sobby Mom Mom. So the vowel has changed now. Okay. It's narrower like that. Okay. We're thinking about keeping our mouth kind of like in an egg shape. Okay, and we're going to sob it out. Okay, this is going to help us not to pull up too much chest voice and therefore strain, but it's going to help us get more chest voice in the mix. So it goes like this: mom, 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 mom. Yeah, that's right. You're going to sing it seriously as if you are sobbing. Okay, here we go: mom, 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 mom. Sob it out. Mom, 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 mom. Are you sobbing? Mom, 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 mom. Amazing work. All right. So hopefully you started to hear just that little bit more depth in your tone there. All right. Hey, Grace, good to see you. Hey, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right, but Tiffane from France. So good to have you. I don't know what time it is in France right now, but I don't think it's I think it's some ungodly hour. Hey, Grace from the UK. Good to see you. Hello, Nai. So good to see you as well. Oh, I just love what I do, Nai. So for me, this is fun. Okay, so there we go, the Sobby Mom. The next one we're going to do is a no, and it's a descending arpeggio. So here is where we incorporate a little bit more of that spoken tone into our voice, right? It helps us to really keep that chest mix in there, but at the same time, we also have a beautiful amount of head voice that's in there perfectly as well. Now, the important thing about this particular exercise is you've got to sing it as if you're adamantly disagreeing with me. All right. So you can't just go, so the exercise goes like this: no, 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 no. All right. Now you got to sing it with that kind of adamance. You can't be like, no, 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 like then all of a sudden we don't have that connection anymore. All right. So I want you to pretend that you are saying no to someone. Maybe you're disagreeing with me. Maybe you're disagreeing with someone else. I don't know. I even want you to use your like your Beyonce attitude and no, 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 no. Okay? So let's do this together. No, 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 no. 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 Excellent. Okay, now as you can hear, as I did that, like there was no sense of changing voices, cracking, flipping, or anything like that. All right, because I kept it adamant. I kept it really adamant, and that really helped to bring that beautiful mix in there. All right, I've got one more exercise for you before we go into live Q&A. Okay, so don't go anywhere. It is time for you to ask whatever questions you want. But let's go to the final exercise for today's live stream on Mastering Your Mix, which is number 5, Gug Gug, long scale. Now, the Gug Gug is a really fantastic one for just training that transition, going through that vocal break area smoothly, okay? It keeps your larynx down so that you're not like pushing it up and straining it unnecessarily. Okay, so this is the way the scale goes. Now let me show you. This is it's a tricky one because it's a bit of a long scale. therefore I call it the long scale. All right, here's how it goes. Now let me do it again slower. All right, give it a go with me. Don't worry if you don't get it all today, because of course this video will be available for you to watch again and again and again and again, and to practice again and again. All right, so let's try this together. Well done. Amazing. So there you go, songbirds. I've given you 5 incredible exercises to get you started with mastering your mix today. The staccato ms, the mum mums, the Sobby Mom Moms, the no, and the Gug Gug. All right. That is going to help you get a really good head start on mastering your mix. But of course, if you have loved that and you want to know more, like you really want to unpack, all of my secrets, then make sure you do check out the Master Your Mix 90-minute webinar that I'm running on the 4th of March EST, which is in Australia, the 5th of March. This is going to be incredible. So make sure you don't miss out and save your seat now, okay? All right, we're going into live Q&A now, guys. So please do type your questions in the chat and I would be more than happy to answer them, okay? Grace, I'm so glad that you love these exercises. They're really fun. They were really fun for me to teach them to you. Hi, Yuan. I'm so glad that you love them too. And hello, Arthur. Good to see you. Okay, so while I wait for you guys to enter in your questions for the live Q&A, let me tell you about next live stream. So next week, next Monday, 6 p.m. EST, which is 10 a.m. on Tuesday, AEDT, I have a very special guest joining me on the live stream. Her name is Melissa.V Cartwright. She is a voice and performance coach, and you're going to find out a lot about her background and just where she, how she came to where she is, and it's going to be like fascinating. She is a creative. She's been in many parts of the creative industry, and you're going to love her story. But she's really passionate about the power of performing, and we are going to talk a lot about that. All right, the power of performing to express, to heal. It's going to be a good one. Do not miss it. All right, the link is coming up below. Make sure you click on the link on the description box to actually set yourself a reminder. It's going to be amazing. Okay, all right, now let me see whether there are any Q&A questions for me today. Let's see. Okay, so how do we know? So Jordan is asking, here we go. How do we know if we are not singing in the mix correctly? Okay, if it feels, so one of the things is, you've got to really know how it feels and also how it sounds. So for example, if it feels like you're straining, you're most likely pulling up too much chest voice, so you're probably not quite in the mix. If it feels way too airy like way too sort of thin, and it sounds a bit, way too airy, then again, you're probably not correctly mixing your voice because you're probably totally on the other side, which is head voice. A mixed voice always feels solid. It actually feels quite solid, and it also feels without strain at all. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Ethan, I'm feeling great today. Thank you for asking. All right. Neodarkmetal is asking, how can I avoid the tension when I'm coming to higher notes? Yep. So this is a problem a lot of singers have. So, you're not alone in that. One of the best ways to avoid tension, first of all, is to not pull up chest voice, so not go na da da da, yeah. And that's why mastering your mix is such an incredible skill to learn. And so learning how to mix your voice obviously will help you do that. But on a very practical level, lifting up your soft palate. So doing a feeling as if you are about to yawn. So, all right, but not exactly yawning, right? That lifts the soft palate up, giving space for your vocal folds to vibrate freely, okay? And then you won't feel the strain. So that's one thing that you can try. Yep. Okay. Grace is asking, I struggle with my voice shaking when I sing. Do you have any tips for that? Your voice shaking. Okay. So part of that is probably going to be breathing technique. Okay. So a lot of the times, like when you say shaking, are you talking about a vibrato that's really, really fast, or what are you actually talking about? But look, from just from me reading your question, my assumption is that you've either got a lot of tension in your body or your breathing isn't working well for you. So make sure you go and check out. I've got a whole playlist right on how to breathe for singing. So make sure you go and check out that playlist and start practicing those exercises. But it's all about activating your rib cage for breathing rather than, breathing in a laborsome breath which makes your shoulders and your chest rise up and makes you get completely tense. All right. All right. Um, Hello, Osman. So good to see you. Where is Nicaragua? I would love to know. Um, So Arthur is asking, any tips on how to approach singing in a more conversational way? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, two of the exercises that I gave today address exactly that. So the mum mums and also the no nos, right? But yeah, I mean, a thing that I would suggest is speak your lyrics out first. So don't even sing it yet. Just speak your lyrics out first and get it conversational, speaking it out as if you are delivering a poem or a speech in front of a crowd, and then sing it right there. That tends to help with a more conversational tone. Okay. And Grace says, it sounds like I'm nervous. Yeah, yeah. And I would think so too. So learning how to breathe properly for singing, which is a deep diaphragmatic breath, is activated by the rib cage, is actually going to help calm you down as well, Grace. So I really think that that's going to really help you. Okay, and Arthur is asking, are these exercises in a specific range or is it ideal to reach all the notes? So what do you mean by all the notes? Not nobody has all the notes. Okay, maybe okay, maybe I've just made a huge generalization there, but at the end of the day, female has female range, males have male range, and everyone's different. You know what I mean? So it's about finding out what actually is your optimal range, right? But of course, singing lessons will help you with that and will help you actually build your whole range and extend beyond what you can sing, normally without training. But yeah, at the end of the day, what we're talking about today specifically is mixing your voice, which means that you actually blend both your chest and your head ranges together. Okay, I think I have time for one more or two more, and then questions, and then we will be wrapping this up. So Debbie is asking, how often would you practice these exercises, and for how long? So with wanting to develop anything, right? Whether it's fixed voice, head voice, chest voice, whatever it is, regularly, little bits at a time is always better than a long time but done sporadically. Okay. So, for instance, Debbie, if you really are passionate about mastering your mix, I would suggest that you start practicing these every single day or at least every second day, and just go through what we went through today. And that's probably going to take you about 10 to 15 minutes, right? Now, if you don't have 10 to 15 minutes, that's okay. Maybe cut it down, do 3 exercises at a time. So whatever you have, I always say with singers, I mean, life is dynamic. It's not static, and we all have different circumstances, and not all of us has particular amounts of time. So I don't really like to prescribe this is the amount of time you must practice. But what I would say is as regularly as you can, and just little bits. So little bits as regularly as you can. That is sustainable. All right. Because if you decide, okay, I'm going to do an hour every single day, but if that doesn't become sustainable, then there's kind of no point as well, because you'll do it for a little bit and then you'll be like, oh, this is too hard, and then you stop, and then the development's gone. So little bits as regularly as you can is what I would say to that. Okay. Is there certain foods that can help with singing? Your best friend, water. Okay, so water, because we always need to keep our body and our vocal folds hydrated, so that's extremely important. I also recommend any sort of licorice herbal teas. They are very soothing for the throat. And also just manuka honey with a bit of lemon in warm water. All right. And just eating healthy, guys. Like at the end of the day, our voices are a direct product of our bodies and the way we're feeling. So if we're fueling our body with good food, right, the tissue around our vocal folds is going to develop healthily, which will then help us to sing better. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. All of a sudden, a million other questions. All right. I will see if I. Okay. All right. So Tony Dang is saying, I just wish these exercises don't sound so ridiculous. I know they probably work, but why can't we sing verses from songs? Good question. So this is the exact thing that I'll be addressing in my 90-minute Master Your Mix webinar. Okay, where we will be. The thing is, it's really important to start with exercises. That's how we train our. That's the way we actually train our vocal folds, our vocal instrument, our vocal tract to do what it should do. It's like an athlete. An athlete wouldn't just go straight to run a marathon or to run a sprint. Do you know what I mean? They're going to train every single day with drills and running and jogging and lifting weights and all sorts of things that seem to be ridiculously unrelated to the actual race that they're doing, but at the end of the day is actually building the muscle, the strength, the stamina, and everything that they need in order to then do the race or to compete in the game, right? Same thing with vocal training. The exercises, yes, they sound ridiculous, but they help us access something that we wouldn't normally be able to access if we did make those ridiculous sounds. So, I encourage us all to just sort of have a bit of fun with them and embrace the ridiculousness of it, right? And then as you do that, you will find that it starts to seep into your songs. Now, of course, there's special techniques of how you apply technique into songs. I encourage you to check out my Master Your Mix webinar, where I'll be covering that in heaps of detail. We're actually going to do songs together, and we're going to get super practical. So if you really are interested in today's topic, I really do encourage you to go and check out my Master Your Mix webinar. The link is below. All right. My pleasure, Grace, and my pleasure, Debbie, my pleasure, Nat, and my pleasure, everyone. It's so cool to spend this time with you guys. So I will see you next week. For the live stream with Melissa.V Cartwright, where we talk about the power of performing. And in the meantime, as I said before, make sure you go and have a look at the Master Your Mix webinar if you're interested in mastering your mix. And also, I have a free mini course that you're going to love, again, to do with mix. It's all about how to sing in mixed voice and stop cracking, flipping, and straining. And you can sign up at the link in the description box below to get it completely free, 4 videos that you're going to absolutely love. All right, songbirds, I have absolutely loved spending this time with you. You know that I am always believing in you. So why don't you go out there, get grounded, take flight, and sing. I'll see you next time, songbirds. Have the best day. Bye.